So again, these modalities, as great as they are and as great as they can be at targeting these areas, are more or less your way to address the symptoms. And that's where you have to really be in the mindset of like, okay, yeah, there's a place and time you want to address the symptoms, but does it fix the root cause? And so sometimes you're just looking at the game plan that you have moving forward and saying, okay, here's what I have. Yes, I'm going to use this to address the symptoms, or depending on what phase you're in, or as a maintenance program for my recovery. But a reality is, if you're trying to fix something, that's not the only answer. So you go back to now, what is my game plan moving forward? Take that perspective and say, okay, now that I've got this situation going on, let's just say your low back's hurting. And people are like, oh, I did this for my low back, the red light therapy. I did the compression pumps around the hip. I went and did the cold plunge, or I went and did the infrared sauna. These are all going to be mitigators of your symptoms because, again, they're playing that game with your musculoskeletal system, the nervous system, the cardiovascular system. So, yes, they're going to go in there and address the symptoms and make you feel better. But overall, they're going to really tackle the problem. No, they're not going to fix your alignment. So, don't get confused with the effects of the modalities, the recovery tools, as an actual answer to fixing the problem. So now let's say, okay, now I understand what these tools do, what they're for. Now be intentional with how you use it to play the game. And that's where you moved forward with unlocked move. So now if I'm going to go in there and be intentional on trying to fix this pattern because of whatever's throwing me off for the alignment, for the low back pain, then now I'm going to say, okay, I've got my system down. Okay, I want to address all three main systems: the musculoskeletal system, muscles and bones, joints, to the cardiovascular system, the blood flow, to the nervous system, because they all connect with each other. Because I want that activation, deactivation of the muscles, and I want to improve that pattern, the efficiency of how I move. So now you're going to go in there and you're going to look at that pattern and say, okay, unlocked move. I'm going to go in there, understand which position my pelvis is in on a grand scale based off your hand dominance pattern. Now I know my pattern and say, okay, I'm going to go attack these areas. So that's where you add the functional movement program in. You start implementing the videos, start implementing the movements. All of a sudden, you start to feel things open up. But here's the game: you got to play with the systems around you. So that's where you can start utilizing these tools to your advantage. So then, yeah, you may look at doing the red light therapy to speed up any kind of healing or repair, recovery, lower some inflammation from going through the exercises. Vice versa, you may do the sauna or the infrared sauna to help calm the nervous system down on days that you're feeling really tense. Other days you're just super sore. So you're like, you know what, I'm going to go do the cold plunge, or I'm going to go do the compression pumps because I want to get rid of some of that lactic acid, that inflammation, and improve the overall efficiency of how my body's feeling and effects of recovery to speed up now that I can go back into the next day of doing some more movement stuff and be ready. And that's how you play the game, is understanding what we talked about earlier, where some people get off and think that they're just going to go stack all these modalities, not having a game plan just because it's trendy and because they think it's going to work. Yeah, I mean, to some point it will a little bit, but it's not going to, it's almost going to counter each other. Let's just say you're over here doing one modality that calms your nervous system to the next modality that calms it even more. And before you know it, you're having a hard time finding that energy for the next day to go do the workout. And so you're playing this game that you're sometimes you don't realize, but you're causing your own symptoms. And if you don't think about this, these modalities or these recovery tools can also be a hindrance to your actual outcome that you're trying to get, the result. So you can play it to your benefit by stacking it with the functional movement exercise and resetting that pattern, or they could also have the opposite effect. And you may not know this by what you're doing as far as your routine. And that's where I think a lot of times people fall short. And so that's why I say sometimes we have to think a little bit deeper. What part of the body you're trying to address? What is your game plan moving forward? And what is the tool that's going to actually help you get there? Again, these are just tools. They're meant kind of like a supplement. It's just meant to improve the efficiency of what you get out of something else. Don't neglect the foundational work and think that the tool is just going to take over and fix everything else. You got to have everything working together. So I think that's the big picture. The take home on this is understanding how to utilize these recovery tools as part of the whole big picture, the whole program itself. Don't get caught up on thinking that the tool is going to be the answer itself.